So let me tell you how only a few months of the year pay for my whole trading success. So people talk about making this amount of percentage per month, but the irony is, yes, your total profits over the whole year, if you divide that by 12 months, you can make so and so percent each month. But in reality, this is not how the recipe works. What usually ends up happening is you have one or two break-even months where your account is hovering around break-even, maybe 1% plus, 1% drawdown, and there is not a lot of change. And then you have 1 month where you gain like 15% in 1 month. And people don't seem to understand that that's how trading works. It's not a linear increase on your account. It's often exponential when it first works. And your job as a trader is to not be stupid and not make foolish mistakes those other months where your setup doesn't work insanely good. And then you have that month where it gives you 15%. So let's divide the year into four quarters. And let's break this down step by step. So let's say you have January, February, March, and April. Let's say January, you make 2%. It's not the best month, it's a bit slow, but you make 2%. Then February, you make 13%. And then March and April, you make 0%. Break even. That's totally 15%. That's a bit above 3% a month. But it doesn't happen every single month. So what ends up happening is in January, people make like 2%, then they make 12% in February, and then in March and April, they start to get impatient and they start to question themselves. Does my setup work anymore? What's this? This doesn't make sense. They end up making stupid decisions, either thinking that I made 15% so I can risk more of my profits because it's no big deal. They get too overconfident, or simply they get too fearful that it's not working anymore. They feel like they need to make money and all of that stuff. But in trading, that's why you need to backtest a lot of months back in time to just observe that some months you don't get that many setups, or it goes break even or whatever, so that you don't get like really shocked when it doesn't work. Because for me, for example, July and August, I got some setups, but it was basically around break even on my funded like 100k accounts. I ended up break even both of those months, and now in September, like I made 15% already, and like we're just in the start of September. So that goes to show that that was just in 2 weeks. So I've been waiting 2 months just to make 15% in 2 weeks. And that goes to show that you need to understand that you have to play the long game. And what I usually like to do is I like to play the prop firm game in a clever way, where I have my biggest accounts where I trade really strictly, really strategically, and I only take my A+ setups, risk 1%, and done for the day. And I usually just trade like maybe once a week on those accounts, maximum 2. But on the other days, what I like to do is simply to be more flexible and to... Some guy was just walking past me. He was like staring me dead in the face. What the... So that's what smart money usually likes to like get someone to sabotage these videos, because I'm speaking too much facts, so they don't want me to expose the whole industry, so they usually send someone or something to distract my videos. But let's keep going. Let's expose this once and for all. So what you need to be doing is you need to have those other accounts, maybe a 10k funded account that you can trade some other setups that you also have a plan, obviously, but it doesn't need to be that specific mechanical A+ setup that you get on your 100K fund accounts. It can be some other setup, some other strategy. That's what I like to do, so that I get some payouts on those accounts as well. And then you have your challenges, like your challenges, prop firm challenges. Those are like, you can trade those on other days as well, because you don't need to be that fearful of those. And especially if you've been in this game for a long time and you have sufficient income coming in from trading, you don't need to be afraid of like blowing a challenge or something. Like, that's where you can, I wouldn't say experiment, but you can take high risks and maybe like trade in a more satisfying way, where you don't need to be that concerned about, oh, what if I lose this trade or whatever. That's a way for you, and you have to find out what works for you. For me, that works for me because I can tolerate more risk on a prop firm challenge than a 10K funded account or a 100K funded account. But the most important for me is, like, for example, today I didn't trade on my 100K funded accounts because the setup wasn't that good. I traded on my 10K funded account, and one of them obviously, and my 10K challenge. On the 10K funded account, I lost 0.5% and I was done for the day. No big deal. On the 10K, I lost a bit more, but again, for me, I just passed a 10K challenge phase 1 last week. So I didn't use that one. I have two 10K verifications, didn't touch them today. But I did a 10K challenge today. And for me, like, I passed the last challenge, but let's say I fail this one, doesn't mean anything. I'm just playing a probability game. Like, I don't care that much about that challenge. I already have two 10K verifications, and I have 4 10K fund accounts and 200K fund accounts. And like, for me, I really don't care if I blow that 10K challenge. I don't want to blow it, but if it happens, I don't care. And I can move on with my day. So people always try to preach that you need to have this and this risk management, this and this trading strategy. But the thing is, for some people, this strategy works. For other people, this strategy works. For some people, this risk management style works. For other people, this risk management style works. And the thing is, you need to find out what works and what makes sense for you. And it's always correlated. Your risk management should be correlated to your trading strategy, the frequency of the trading strategy. What account are you using? Is it a 100K funded account? Is that 400K funded account? Is that 10K challenge phase 1? Like, all of that stuff is something that you need to decide what works for you. Because for me personally, what I like to do on a challenge is I like to wait. I don't trade every single day. I'm selective on which days I trade. And then I like to take a trade when I see something good. And then I like to scale in when it looks really good. But for other people, that wouldn't work for their trading strategy. Scaling in would just lead to blow up. And not all trading strategies works to scale in either. But the thing is, you need to work out what works for you. For me, I can afford to like win 50% of my challenges and lose 50% of them. And for me, that's a statistic that works. I'm not trying to do that, but if that happens, I'm not going to like not be profitable or be really frustrated, because the wins pay for the losses. But for other people, that wouldn't make sense again. So it's like, you need to work out what works for you. For me, it's like waiting for a really good opportunity and then scaling into my winners. But for other people, that may not work for them. But overall, I try to teach people what I like to trade, my strategy, and how they can use that type of strategy or approach for themselves and develop something that works for them. And in my Discord, which is linked in the bio, I give daily market analysis. I tell you which days are high probability, which days are low probability, and basically where I think the market is going in that session and my trading strategy. And I try to help people as much as possible. I'm trying to create a community where everyone grows together. We can teach each other stuff, and trading is difficult enough as it is. So I want everyone in my community to win and to work together. And I'm not perfect either. I try to learn something from people as well. If you're interested in joining the community, the link is in the bio. And for the rest of the week, good trading week and good luck.